Hey guys, it's me, Tiana Jones, also known as Callie Faye, and I'm here today with the All Lives Do Exist Sustainable Development Goal Day 9 Industry, Innovation, and Infrastructure. Welcome to all our special guests worldwide giving us great information. Thank you so much. Welcome. First guest today is going to be Anil Polchero. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm glad to be here. So may I start, ma'am?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so hi everyone. Hi guys. It's me, Anil Pokhrel. I'm the professional IT coach at College of Applied Business. And this SDG 9, that is Industry, Innovation, and Infrastructure, has been my own field that is about innovation. I myself has been in this background for last many years. So I really feel good to speak on this topic. So when you talk about industry, innovation, and infrastructure, if I talk in the context of my own country, my country, Nepal, is still in a developing phase, where the point of view how we see about innovations and the point of view how other developed countries see in the point of innovation, I think it's much more different, right? So for the country of developing countries like in Nepal, for us, like we are still working on bringing innovations in the waste management or other field like agriculture or biological field or food industry. We are still back in those background. For us, bringing innovation means we are trying to work on this part, like how we can make these things technical in an innovative way. Like we are agricultural country, but still we cannot produce that amount of products for our own citizens, right? So for that, we are still working on that in that part of innovations. Similarly, if we talk about the infrastructure, so when we talk about infrastructure, we basically think about the engineering aspects like constructions of roads or bridges, buildings. For us in the country of Nepal, I think the amount of time that we take to construct such kind of infrastructure, it takes a lot of time. Actually, we plan a lot, but when it comes to the execution part, we take a lot of days, like even it takes years, even a single planning of infrastructure, it is taking a lot of years as well. So we are lacking somewhere in infrastructure innovations. I mean, it's going very slow as compared to other developed countries. And I think we need to work on that part. And the problem, why it is happening is because of the, probably it's because of budget system. I mean, we are giving more of the budget, more of the economic part to the other field. We are ignoring these innovations, infrastructures. And this is not only the case of Nepal, I guess. I think this is the case of many other countries. Now the question is, why do we need innovations or infrastructures? Basically, we are trying to create, the better, we are trying to survive in a better way. We are trying to create, positive impact in our environment along with the, innovations. Because innovation doesn't mean only bringing technology. Innovation means we have to bring the technology, but it should have some kind of positive impact in our society, to the people that we are impacting. I have been constantly working. I myself has been working in this innovative background, and when I myself work on this background, what I feel is we are lacking some kind of expertise in this. I mean, we know what we are doing, we know what we are planning, but when we come to execution, we are lacking with the mentorship. So we don't have proper mentorship in many countries, and that's a problem why we don't have that proper kind of innovations. Like a lot of countries have innovation, like when talk about the social medias, like we can take the example, like many countries have lots of their own chatting system, right? We have WhatsApp, we have Facebook, or like many other social media, right? But our country like Nepal are still trying to bring new technology. We are trying to challenge those technology as well, like WhatsApp or other, whatever it is. But we are still not able to do that because we don't have that proper resources with us. Like we need developers, we need programmers, we need those kind of IT knowledge experts people. But whatever people we have in our country, wherever we are generating, we are actually going abroad. Most of the people, like if you consider in case of Nepal, or I think even our neighboring countries like India or Bangladesh or Bhutan, like most of the people are going abroad, like US or Australia or different countries. And I think that's one of the main reason why still we are lacking innovations. Like the youth who actually have the knowledge are, they're going out of the country instead of making their own country. So there are some problems, and there are some, the good things about the innovations in infrastructure as well. And we still need to work on the industry of food industry or biological industry or agricultural industry and waste industry as well. So these are the main focus area where we need to work in the field of industry innovation and infrastructure. That's all. Tiana Johnson, over to you.
Thank you so much. And our next special guest today is Saraya Beno. Welcome.
Thank you, Her Excellency. It is a great honor to provide me a great opportunity on this time. I am out of a station, and right now there is a network some issues, and so I can't continue, but I feel very glad to join with you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So today we are going to present Marvin Claron.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So it's nice and good to see you. So I am Marvin Calargon. I am a United Nations Sustainable Development Goal advocate, more specifically on quality education, also in our SDG 9, since we talk about Sustainable Development Goal number 9, which refers to industry, innovation, and infrastructure. So, but before that, let me introduce myself. This is Marvin Calargon from the Philippines. And this time, I want to show to you how a Philippines gone too far, especially on promoting our 2030 ambition namin. It is ambition natin, which is connected on the Sustainable Development Goal number 9, focusing on industry, innovation, and infrastructure, where our country currently have what we call Build program, known to be a part or known to be a long-term project of our President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. This Build program thoroughly give importance, especially on the building infrastructure, which is really the main cause why Philippines is totally increasing or escalating in terms of GDP, in which we belong to increase is despite of the pandemic. But this time, I would like to share to you what is SDG number 9, which focus on industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Generally, when we talk about SDG 9, it is a program part of the Sustainable Development Goal of the United Nations, which seeks to build a resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. This means that this SDG number 9 encompasses the important aspect of sustainable development, especially on infrastructure, industrialization, and innovation. So taking to back, let's take a look on the fact that on the recent in the 2018, there are 96% of the world population live within reach of mobile cellular signal, in which 90% of the people could access the internet through a third generation or 3G. So meaning to say, let's take a look that SDG promotes sustainability. In some point, it can be create to a specific moment, which is positive or negative, or the pros and cons. So this time in the Philippines, we talk about SDG. We are having so much infrastructure this time. And currently, as an online learner, we already, or I experienced in the first hand of how we really have experienced unstable internet connection. Since we talk about innovation, industry, and infrastructure, SDG 9, we talk about internet access. So this time, the biggest problem in the Philippines regarding with the SDG 9 is about our internet accessibility. So meaning to say, as the pandemic rise, the online class as being increased. So this time, people have um so much things to adjust, especially like as online learner. But this time also we experience so much unstable internet connection. So we belong to the 96% of the world population, which it reached the mobile cellular, which is unstable on internet. So, but this time I would like to emphasize that promoting the SDG is really necessary, because aside from that innovation, industry and infrastructure that you have, we also gain so much access to more on employment, more on development, and also we can be able to build a longer program for our future generation. But I would like to emphasize that at some point, promoting SDG 9 can bring so much negative. Take a look on how people, human activities create impact to our environment. It is a time to act, like let us experience not so much campaign about let the earth breathe. Innovation is okay, infrastructure is okay, industry, increasing the industry is okay. But this time, some people are misled because of so much interest and because of money, and which people are throwing chemicals that can kill so much flora and fauna. People are, or companies are trying to create mining, just like in our country, Philippines, particularly in Mindanao, we campaign on the eco, or what we call fighting against banning the mining in the very important forest, which is the Tampakan in South Cotabato. But this time, I would like to emphasize that SDG 9 promotes sustainability, but let us be responsible on everything that we do. But what really important for now is that as we escalate the number of our infrastructure, innovation, and progress, let us also not to forget to love our environment in all matter, because after all, innovation, infrastructure, industry can be increased, but what important matter is that we can also to leave a legacy for our future. So this time, SDG 9 promotes our sustainability, and let us also promote responsible sustainability. That's what we all. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe you're right that we have to unite to find better solutions, because sometimes infrastructure can lead to hurting the environment. So I believe you're right. There may be able to be more infrastructure in the future that can be including the environment instead of hurting the environment. So thank you so
Indeed.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Now, our special guest that we call upon next is Dr. Karen Raza. And we will circle back to her, and I will say a few words. Okay, so innovation is huge because everybody's looking for a way to emphasize on what we can fix in the world. So SDG goal day number 9 is very important. Infrastructure means building, means developing new things in the world to help us have a safe place to live. What we have to focus on now is the buildings that have been built, railroads that have been already built. And what that does is they have to be repaired. We have to see that everything that we have already built within the last 100 years of infrastructure, even over 100 years, has to be rekindled, to be rebuilt. If we rebuild these things, we will be able to build our bridges, build our railroads, rebuild our homes and rebuild our buildings of business. I believe that a lot of innovation happens, but they don't go back and they don't rebuild what they've already built. And so if money is basically invested into rebuilding what we need fixed and what we need worked on, then we won't have to build more and more and more and more. It's basically like budgeting and creating a way of making sure that we don't have to continuously spend tax-paying dollars and also dollars in each country on building more and more and more, when all we have to do is work on the innovation and determine ourselves onto what we've already done. So that is the first thing I want to discuss. The second thing I want to discuss is for infrastructure. There can be a design of infrastructure that helps not pollute, not have chemical spills, not have electricity issues based on the land that it's built on, and also the energy that is given. So we want to focus on the animals, and we want to focus on the trees and the earth that is being cut down and being basically built upon at that moment. So there's certain places in the world that is focused on the moment. They're focused on what they need to do at that moment for different, like the other speaker said, there's people that are building on forests. There's people that are building on different parts of land. There's tribal lands, there's sacred lands. In Hawaii, there's actually something going on where they want to build in a sacred spiritual part of Hawaii, but the people of the communities don't want that to happen. So they are going through that still to this day, where they're fighting their, government, to make sure that that doesn't happen. There's probably parts like of the world that is going on all over the world. I believe that the land is a very spiritual and very sacred creation of growing that started our existence of being able to live. So I believe that the infrastructure has a pro and con, just like Marvin had said, that we have to be accountable for this infrastructure. We have to be accountable for this innovation, and the industries that are partnering with our countries, they have to be accountable for where they're setting this stuff up and where they're actually determining where we need to have the infrastructure. So I believe that it has to do with the industries. We have to focus on what industries are very focused on helping the world, and also coming up with solutions to have meetings with the industries to say, okay, we have infrastructure on this piece of land in this country, in this city, and we need to focus on either A, rebuilding that infrastructure, B, focusing on giving back information of what happened of recycled energy, C, focusing on the more holistic and more production of the earth, and making sure that we can replant trees, and making sure that we can give that type of concept of creation with the infrastructure of the buildings. And then also keep in mind, we want to have these things looked upon at least every 5 years. We want buildings to be reconstructed, but also revalued. We want the value to go up so that our economy goes up. So if we can go ahead and have inspectors in the United States of America, we have housing inspectors, we have building inspectors, and we have people that are supposed to let the owners of the buildings and companies know what is wrong with their buildings, what is wrong with their homes. If we can have the value price go up by focusing on decreasing costs based on, instead of building more and more and more in different areas, focusing on what's already built and rebuilding that value, our economy will go up, because SDG 8 yesterday was about the economy and how we would be able to fix the economy and give value to the economy. So we want, as SDG 9 today, to realize that innovation is starting starting with your mindset. If we can just take a moment to understand that each place has value, each property has value, each community-based program has value. So each industry has value. They have value. They've been fixing and working on their value since they have started of their existence. If they can focus on those things of making sure the cost goes down by fixing what has already happened in the world of infrastructure, that will change the dynamic of the economy. That will help the price value of the homes, of the buildings, and of different parts of infrastructure continue to grow in value. But then again, the key here is to have these goals become sustainable development, which can happen as the United Nations is looking for people to give influence, to give impact. We want to focus on the solutions. We are aware of the problems, but we give the awareness of how these buildings are overpopulating the earth, where we need more trees to be grown. But here's the thing, buildings can also be built with trees and have some synergy where the earth is still having buildings grow around trees. As you can see in 100-year-old homes, maybe 200-year-old homes and buildings, the trees adapt with the innovation of the building. So the trees come together with the buildings, and sometimes they have to rip the tree bark off of the buildings. Now that means evolution adapts. Our earth, our living earth, is adapting with the buildings. Now that means they can coexist. As we can see, these buildings and these trees and this living earth, this life, can coexist together, but you have to have a balance. If you overpopulate the trees and the earth with more buildings than more trees, then you're decreasing our oxygen level on the planet Earth. So the goal here is to have balance, cut costs, and refix, again, railroads, bridges, roads, an innovation of buildings that has already been here to be built for infrastructure. So I believe that if we revalue these costs and we revalue what has to happen here, the value will go up, the economy will grow tremendously. And then with the new innovations and the new infrastructure, we adapt to a holistic approach. We adapt to growing more trees around the buildings, have more architects design more trees that are innovated with the buildings so that you're creating oxygen. There's certain hospitals, I've been in the United States, and they have a very big room and very big open room for the trees. They have trees in the hospitals, and they have an area outside around the hospital that is able to have people who have cancer and other diseases go outside to get fresh air because they cannot leave the hospital. I believe that this innovation is a very key playing innovation to our world. If we have that perception to have outside areas created in the inside as inside grow houses and inside areas for infrastructure with the buildings, I believe that it will create an inside out of oxygen. I also believe that this will decrease costs and also value the infrastructure buildings to a higher level so that we can make more money when it comes to selling and real estate. I believe the real estate for the economy will go up. So all of these SDGs have something to do with each other. Like I've said in other videos, every infrastructure has to do with the mindset. Again, why are we doing this? SDG 3 health and well-being. We want to make sure that people stay healthy, happy, and live long-lasting lives. How can we do that? By impacting the earth, by impacting the infrastructure in the buildings, in the economy, for electricity, for all that has been given to us and in valued for us. We can overcome what has happened in the past and look at it as a new way of life of teaching, as a holistic approach to abide by the obedience of the creator who created the earth. So again, infrastructure, innovation, and industry. These three are very key players with building the economy, with building the real estate business, with building the building value. And again, focus on the roads, the railroads, and also the bridges. These have already been built. If we're able to, even airports, if we're able to go back into what we already have and do some more research on what is wrong, having inspectors do a little more work and finding out what needs to be fixed and giving those tax dollars to those infrastructure plans for innovation, I believe that this can be a key life-changing impact for every country. In some countries, they don't have buildings at all and they need to start building. Everything is a process. We need to have education system available, and we want them to have quality education. We want them to have equal rights, and that is equal rights to education and equal rights to infrastructure. That means they need equal rights to have innovation, because they need the information and the knowledge, because innovation isn't just one type of value of infrastructure. It's also the infrastructure of your mind, of your health, of your well-being. So again, all SDG goals have something to do with each other. It's a matter of how are we going to perceive these SDG goals and how are we going to add value to these SDG goals. Again, this is the key to fixing, again, the economy. So now we have a special guest, Dr. Nada Rakovic.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Tiana. I apologize that I'm a little late. I listen you, and as I already write, you cover all. You cover all the industry, and you said what is industry, and I will said add to this that we need to have a production of the goods, not only selling the services in the economy. What is innovation? Innovation, we need new idea, we need new methods, we need new devices, and infrastructure. As you said, the infrastructure is necessary for every country, and we know that in many countries we still don't have a good infrastructure, not cities, because we know that we in the richest part of the world there are already sustainable cities, sustainable villages. And how can we talk about the economic growth if we don't have this tree, if we don't have industry to produce something? How can we make a building without industry who is producing the colors, the things that you need for the infrastructure? And if we don't have a great idea, so ideas today are very important for any SDG. You said before how to save the energy. There are many inventions today. I can say that we know that India has a lot of patents, Germany has a patent, USA, in my countries, because we know that that is necessary to make a good infrastructure. And also this is all important in the education, because education is like in other goals very crucial to achieve anything. So every country needs to have a good education. So how can we talk about educated students if they are not, if they don't have, and if they are not educating today with the hard skills, soft skills, and all innovations and all like example an engineer and all workplaces are coming today from the education. I want to say everyone don't need to finish a university. He can be a great in a job which he is educated. Like example, we know that today we have a lack of many professions because today everyone wants to be a lawyer, everyone wants to be a doctor, but we need professions for building our infrastructure. And I really like what you said that all the buildings needs to have trees, even it is an old building built before 200, 300 years. At my village, I have an old house, an old stone house, and I have a lot of trees, lot of plants there, and also we make some new things in the house, but we still left the old picture of that house because we want to have a place where we can relax after the work in a city. And honestly, I like more living on the village than in the town because you have a peace, you have a relax for yourself. And today, the infrastructure is very necessary to bridge and to merge the cities and to merge the villages to be one part because people today who only wants to live in the big cities. Yes, the big city is offering you many opportunities, but today we know if you have internet, and internet is also an innovation, and it is every day. Every day the IT specialists are working on the new things for the internet. So it depends all about us. I can say everything depends about us as a human being, and we need to work because we know that today, yesterday, we talk about decent work and achieving the economy, growing the economy. But also a day before we talk about that we know that many towns, many countries have difficulties with having electricity full time. We know that in Zimbabwe and in Africa countries there is a big problem with accessing electricity. Also, the people don't have the basic sanitation. We know that also that they don't have reliable phone services, agriculture production, and all of that is a part of this, which Diana already said, and I like to say that each one SDG is covered with one with another. So how can we become high income countries? We need industry, and we need a production that is very important. Also, many new innovations, many inventions, and that together will build a great infrastructure where we will have all which we need, and then we can say that our economy will grow, and we will have an infrastructure that can connect all the supply chains because we know today what is a market. A market is a place where we have demand and supplies. So if we don't have demand and supplies, we cannot have a market, and also we cannot talk about a high income economy. So thank you, dear Tiana. Thank you for this opportunity. I see that Dr. Ambassador Suraya Bano is here. Did she talk already?
Her connection wasn't going that well.
Dr. Suraya Bano is a great educator. She don't
Thank you,
feel-
ma'am. Thank you for great honor. Thank you, Nada madam.
Yes, I like to be with her. She is amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiana,
God
very
bless
much.
you.
Thank
Today
you.
is Sunday. Today is Sunday. Where are the people? Why they don't come? I come. I said Tiana will be there.
And our next special guest today is Dr. Karen Raza.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Thank you, Tiana, for having me today again.
Thank you.
So I would just talk a little bit about the infrastructure goal today. I would start with saying that infrastructure provides the basic physical systems and structures essential to the operation of a society or enterprise. Industrialization drives economic growth. It creates job opportunities and thereby reduces our income poverty. Innovation definitely advances the technological capabilities of industrial sectors and prompts the development of new skills, inclusive of sustainable industrial development in the primary source of income generation. It also allows for rapid and sustained increases in living standards for all people all over the country. It also provides the technological solutions needed for environmental sound industrialization. Investment in infrastructure and innovation are crucial drivers for economic growth and development. With over half the world's population now living in cities, mass transport and renewable energy are becoming even more important as they are the growth of new industries and information and communication technologies. The expenses in research by different countries, the issue of internet access, finance projects that have the goal to build roads, schools, businesses, finance social entrepreneurs, non-profit organizations. They invest in innovation and new technologies. But what's most important is we need to reduce natural resources and energy used in agriculture and raw material production, processing, packaging, and distribution, reduce waste and emissions of reducing chemical byproducts. That is important. And most of the details, Tiana, you already covered, which I think most of our speakers today have already covered, that we need to take care of the environment, which is most important. We definitely want a developed country. We need all the possible development, but we can't risk our country for its natural resources as well. So that's important. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. We really enjoy you speaking. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiana.
So now we have a video from Job Okello.
In his wise thinking, the American radiologist William Brodie once asked a powerful question: that what is the calculus of innovation? He went ahead and answered the question. He said, the calculus of innovation is really quite simple. Knowledge drives innovation, innovation drives productivity, productivity drives economic growth. Wow, what a wise man. Given the numerous crises we face in the world today, creativity and innovation have never been demanded, desired, and deserved more than today. If we must get the results we have never got, then we must do what we have never done. Short of that, we will never get the desired results. Innovation, infrastructure, and industrialization are key drivers of economic growth. Sustainable Development Goal number 9 seeks to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. As Myron Scholes once noted, innovation must lead infrastructure for a simple but compelling reason. Innovation produces types of products and markets, and it is virtually impossible to know how to run those markets efficiently before they are created. Wow, I love this statement. Investment in industrialization, infrastructure, and innovation is a necessity for growth in productivity and incomes, achieving peace and security, increasing employment opportunities, bringing prosperity, eradicating poverty, building sustainable societies, and improving health, education, and every other sector. The UN says investments in infrastructure, transport, irrigation, energy, and information and communication technology are crucial to achieving sustainable development and empowering communities. Surely sustainable innovation, infrastructure, and industrialization are necessities for sustainable development. According to the Sustainable Development Goals Report 2021, manufacturing in the least developed countries grew by a negligible 1.9% in 2020, compared with 8.7% in 2019. On a per capita basis, the manufacturing value added was only $136 in the least developed countries in 2020, compared with $4,296 in Europe and Northern America. In 2018, the share of medium and high-tech manufacturing was 49% in developed regions and 41.4% in developing regions, compared with only 8.9% in the least developed countries. In 2018, spending on research and development as a share of gross domestic products ranged from 0.3% in sub-Saharan Africa to 0.86% in Northern Africa and Western Asia. For the least developed countries and landlocked developing countries, the average was 0.2%, only a small fraction of the proportion spent in more developed regions of the world. Globally, only 51% of the population used the internet in 2019, leaving 3.7 billion people without internet access. In the least developed countries, only 1 in 5 people were online in 2020. We can change the status quo. Yes, we can. Yes, we must. Yes, we will. The journey to the promised land is a long one. The journey to the promised land is a worthwhile one. The journey to the promised land is a crucial one. We will get to the promised land. In the words of Bill Gates, never before in history has innovation offered promise of so much to so many in so short a time. Inclusive and sustainable industrialization, together with innovation and infrastructure, can unleash dynamic and competitive economic forces that generate employment and income. They play a key role in introducing and promoting new technologies, facilitating international trade, and enabling the efficient use of resources. Innovation and technological progress are key to finding lasting solutions to both economic and environmental challenges, such as increased resource and energy efficiency. The coronavirus pandemic has revealed the urgent need for resilient infrastructure, sustainable industrialization, and innovation. Either we innovate or perish. In the words of the great Indian leader Rahul Gandhi, a rising tide doesn't raise people who don't have a boat. We have to build the boat for them. We have to give them the basic infrastructure to rise with the tide. Wow, what a statement. We live in a world in which various tides are constantly rising, yet many people don't have the boats with which they should rise with the tides. Shall we build the boats for them? Shall we help them to rise with the tides? Shall we empower them to build the boats? I look forward to the day on which we will properly scale up investment in scientific research, development, and innovation. I look forward to the day on which we will provide equitable access to finance for economic recovery. I look forward to the day on which we will have infrastructure that is resilient to disasters and climate change. I look forward to the day on which we will significantly reduce tariffs and trade tensions among the world's dominant economies. I look forward to the day on which we will have in place quality, affordable, reliable, sustainable, and resilient infrastructure in our respective countries, especially in African countries. I look forward to the day on which we will provide adequate financial support to small-scale enterprises and industries, particularly in the so-called least developed countries. I look forward to the day on which we will significantly develop resilient, affordable, and sustainable infrastructure with clean technologies and high efficiency. I look forward to the day on which we will significantly build the capacities of industries, research and development entities, both public and private, to significantly foster innovation, especially in the least developed countries. I look forward to the day on which governments, especially of African countries, will fully support national technological research and development by creating conducive environments that promote industrial establishments of various kinds and value addition to products. I look forward to the day on which world governments, particularly African governments, will provide equitable, reliable, and affordable access to information and communication technology without discrimination whatsoever. I look forward to the day on which corruption will become history, especially in African countries, so that resources are properly utilized to meet the interests of the masses. I look forward to the day on which we will seriously educate the masses on industrialization, infrastructure, and innovation. I look forward to the day on which we will not live by chance and die by design, especially in many African countries where it is the norm to live by chance and design. The American actor Will Rogers once made a philosophical statement that, show me a healthy community with a healthy economy, and I will show you a community that has its green infrastructure in order and understands the relationship between the built and the unbuilt environments. Wow. Think about that statement for a moment. Rogers said so much in so few words. If we don't design proper infrastructure, then we will be designing our own death. Aging, degraded, or non-existent infrastructure makes conducting businesses challenging or even impossible. Businesses rely on materials, resources, labor, and service support from all corners of the world, and the ability to access them efficiently is key to establishing new markets. Computing and technology-based skills are of significant value to most businesses today, and consumers of common goods and services live on every continent. However, the basic infrastructure supporting technologies, communications, and transportation and sanitation that businesses rely on is not universally available, hindering economic growth and societal progress. By committing to sustainable industrialization and promoting innovation across many operations, businesses can upgrade local infrastructure, invest in resilient energy and communications technologies, and make these technologies available to all people, including marginalized groups who might not have access otherwise. Global companies can also promote inclusive infrastructure development by bringing valuable financial services and employment opportunities to smaller enterprises. We must invest in new, resilient infrastructure and improve the existing infrastructure to make it more sustainable. We must expand the geographic reach of research and development facilities, bringing research and development capabilities to even remote places, especially in African countries. We must promote innovation by allowing all stakeholders to offer creative solutions to the challenges we face. We must engage all kinds of stakeholders, including the minority groups, to ensure that infrastructure development benefits and creates opportunities for all. We must establish standards and promote regulations and regularly revise the standards and regulations to ensure that company projects and initiatives are sustainably managed. We must encourage collaborations with non-governmental organizations and the private and public sectors to help promote sustainable research, development, and innovation. Schools can teach learners about innovation, infrastructure, and industrialization, and encourage them to make their contributions and carry out innovative projects that promote innovation, infrastructure, and industrialization. One of the greatest inventors of all time, Steve Jobs, once said, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. I love the statement. The countries that lead in innovation lead the global economy. In a world in which we face more challenges than ever, if we must thrive and survive, then we must strive innovatively. The question is, have we really prioritized innovation, especially in the so-called least developed countries? Thank you very much.
Thank you. And he's always got something great every day for sustainable development goals. He's able to bring his full energy, and we're very appreciated for that. We appreciate him for that. Thank you so much. Our next special guest is Sahid Khan.
So Tiana, can I do it next?
You're the last one.
Okay. Say, I'm really sorry for being late, and I just was doing something, and I'm really very pleased to have all of the participants today. And so Job is doing great jobs, and I always inspire by his word, and he is a great inspirational speaker, I think. And I yeah, every times I see and I feel very empowered. And you just always I say that there are lots of problems all around the world, most of the poor country, and just a problem that we have is okay, and we know all the problems that's happening in the world. So I'm feeling very sad thinking about, because I'm really watching a lots of news every time, BBC News and CNN News, and when I see childrens are suffering, and that hurts me a lot. Okay, because we are working with children, and 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 I can't really explain that how much I'm getting hurt, and it's absolutely sad. And just the question is that who's gonna protect the children? And in my country, there are lots of childrens, and I have posted today, and because today is Children Labor Protections Day, and it's absolutely sad. 3 million children in my country, they are just working because they don't have the age for working, but they're working, and they are starting their jobs from the early age, even though they are not adult. And it's absolutely terrifying. So sometimes I think that what I am doing is not enough. I need to take more responsibility for them. And the problem that I'm inspiring students so that they can all come forward to helping the children, those childrens. And you know that on years ago, I had a great experience. A child who was just about just 10 years old, and he's just holding a bag, and he's just trying to find some plastic pots and just trying to sell them and to maintain his family. So you can guess that a child who is supposed to go to school, but he's just holding a bag and trying to find out something from the ground and just selling for her mother. And it made me cry. And always I'm thinking, because I'm just seeing such types of children all around many parts of the world, even Africa and many parts of the world, and most of the poor country. And it makes me cry. It makes me really get a lot of pain. And I always tell people that life is very short, but art is long, and that what we are doing and what we are thinking about the people is actually absolutely great works, and just only we can't really proud of the works. And always I think that most of the volunteers, those who are not thinking about his life and sacrificing for the other people, are just not thinking about his life, only think. Because I think when I go to sleep, and I think that what the activities that I have done for the world, and that's what we need to think. We need to think about that. And you know that always I tell people that we have the solemn responsibility for the world, and you can't really escape from your responsibility that you have for your community, for the world, and the responsibility. And who is just thinking about the responsibility? I think that a very majority of people, and they're just thinking about the world, and that's why we are just being able to really do something. And I appreciate Tiana, because you are doing great works, and you are just bringing people on these platforms, and they are just raising their voice. And because we have the voice, we have a lots of things to say, and because the injustice say that it's absolutely a tremendous work that many of the children, and they are coming to my platform, also to your platform, and they are performing and in a good way, and they are just telling a story. And but you know that why I'm not able to connect with childrens and not able to bring them on this platform, because they don't have internet connection in their areas available. So that's the problem. And when we are just telling about the innovator work and just innovations of technology, that many people are getting really far from the technological benefits. And children in my area where we are working, and they don't touch computer, even though they don't know much about the computer, you know that. And we can't really believe it. And so I consider from my side that when we will be able to ensure all the people that they are in the happy life, getting the happiness, and they are blessed with technology, and not about all the people, all the children all around the world, and then we can really say that yes, we have progress, we have done something. And that's what we need to do. We need to struggle for the people. We need to fight for the people and those who are not raising their voice. And that's where I just get hope. And because when I see people like Tiana, like Job, like people are doing great jobs, and for the world, that's the hope that we are getting. And all the time I'm really saying, because I'm trying to inspire those who are not on the right place, those who are not on the right track. And that's what we need to inspire people. You know that lots of people, they know a lots of things, but they don't want to just express, because they think that if I just express, people will get it and people will more learn it and will be considered, and then my value will be decreased. And that's the narrow-minded people. And what we know, we need to really express, we need to spread the happiness. And if there is a girl and there is a boy who is living behind you and probably starving, and he or she is not getting the food and sleeping without having the food, and you can't be happy thinking about that. And that's the genuine educated people will think like that. And that should be our struggle, that should be our fight for people. And that's the message that love is spread, what we know about our life and the things that we think and we are really being proud of. We need to make people proud too. That should be our job, not being selfish, just be vast like the ocean. And that's that when you just will be considered as a good human being. Let's be honest, let's be beautiful. And that should be our job. That should be the things that we need to fight for. And let's make children happy, because children's our future. Children can do everything. You can't really believe that. Children have the power, have the ability to change the world we need to make a room for them. Thank you, Tiana. Thank you for organizing such an event, because we have great voice that we can express things like and inspire people so that they come. I think that a large amount of people, they will come to this platform and raise their voice that what is happening in the world, because many things that you don't know, that what is happening in India, what is happening in Bangladesh, Pakistan, and poor country, but you don't know actually what is happening. But if you just speak with those people like me, probably will get the sense that what, and then we'll have the solutions that what we can do for the benefits of the children. Thank you, Tiana.
Thank you. And I believe that innovation also has to do with technology. If each family, one family can get one computer device or cell phone device in their home, this can open up more infrastructure ways of development, because it can help SDG 8 and 9. It can build the economy. It can advance the technology IT departments, and also, again, strengthen our departments of defenses so we can watch our people in order to make sure they're safe, make sure they can develop the education they need, the homes they need, and even funding their services and abroad that can happen through IT. So innovation also has to do with internet, but not just internet, what we do with the internet, what we can do with, you know, all the internet tools of services that we can still create. And again, industry, the industries that have completely built the IT departments and also have created the internet, there will be more faster, you know, internet services as the years are to come. So we want to continue to build this infrastructure and build the industries with awareness so that they can find better solutions with how they can give the internet access. Again, you are in India, and when you were speaking, your internet service was cutting in and out. So we want the industries to work on the infrastructure of the plan of innovation, because there is a greater plan that can create more value with advanced technology of all SDGs. They all go together. And again, that can build the economy. That can also strengthen all of our defense departments of defenses in all countries. And that can also give education, quality education to all children. So all of these are sustainable development goals that we have been covering in the last 2 weeks. So we want to continue to use these development goal ideas, create these into skills, and give the children, but also ourselves, enough respect to work harder for our, you know, our economy, so that we can have SDG 3, health and well-being. This can help with mental health. This will help with mental health prevention. And all these SDGs go together, because with giving value in our homes now during this pandemic for the children, giving them games to play, giving them learning tools, giving them books to read, all through technology and the internet, and even movies to watch, you're giving them infrastructure, you're giving them information so that they can build their inner mental capacity of mindset. So you're instructing their mindsets for infrastructure, and you're instructing them for their occupations that will come in the future. So you're building their ability and awareness on using technology and using platforms such as this of All Lives Do Exist and Women's Lives Do Exist of Equality, showing them that there's more to come, that they're equal and their rights are equal, and they have human rights, and they have an ability to spread joy, love, and light. So we want people to know that this exists, so that they can work on their abilities of getting that accountability, utilizing all that we're giving them, and that is using the internet. So thank you again, Sahid. Thank you to all the speakers. And again, all lives do exist, and women's lives do exist for equality, and together we can build a better world and help prevent all mental illnesses and prevent all disease. So thank you guys. And infrastructure innovation and SDG Goal 9 has been very informative. And again, join us tomorrow for SDG Goal number 10, and we will be back with more information. Thank you guys. Take care.